What was that like in high school?
See, I don't have any notes for this part. I don't know what I'm going to say at all.
But before that, I'm going to look down again.
That's okay.
My like overachieving perfectionist self.
Yeah.
All right, so Blair, this is a video to your past self.
Yeah, this is just a little Meg back in high school.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
You will party way too much through high school.
You have a field trip to Paris where you're almost arrested.
You're a small little guy, you haven't really grown much at all. So that's fantastic.
Here you are, Rita. It's 1974.
Pretty bad haircut.
Checkers nightclub and disco music.
Like the part to the side sort of thing. So yeah, don't miss that.
Dear Margot,
And this is a message to my high school self.
You actually skip a couple of classes. From the first day that you look into the eyes of your students, you're thrown back to that time in your life.
And then hopefully you can learn a few new things that you didn't quite know back in the day. So here we go.
So when you first get to high school, you'll be absolutely terrified of everyone. And
You're not gonna know what's gonna happen, what's gonna go on, what the teacher's gonna be like.
Am I going to be welcome there? Is the teacher going to stand up for me?
It almost feels like a bit like being an actor in high school sometimes, where you're not really your real self.
At the time, I think you thought you knew yourself really well, and you did, but you didn't know the rest.
you'll tell your friends that you're bisexual, and they'll say that's wrong.
Sometimes things aren't brought up in smaller towns.
A lot of stuff that you aren't quite used to hearing. That's gay. He's such a faggot. I think that girl's a lesbian.
And you'll force yourself back into the closet for 6 years.
You're gonna hate elementary school. You wanna just learn, dance, play sports, and they aren't gonna accept you for that.
High school's not going to be easy for you, and you're going to experience forms of discrimination and homophobia. You want to often make a difference. You want to make change, and it sounds kind of funny that it would go in that way. But remembering what it's like to be that student in that classroom, that's what's going to motivate and inspire you to actually become a teacher despite a negative high school experience.
but you're gonna meet the most amazing teacher named Mr. Edie, who's gonna make you feel like you can do everything.
You knew that this teacher was gay and that he was positive about gay kids.
Miss Mary Cosentino, and she's gonna be awesome.
The most inspiring, passionate, energetic teacher you will ever meet.
This man was very, very brave, and I thought, hey, you know what? Being gay means you have to have the brave gene or the courage gene.
She's gonna accept artists, athletes, academics, and you're gonna feel like you fit in for the first time.
Even though you know your family is amazing, you're still gonna wonder if they're gonna be okay when you tell them that that friend, that other exchange student you met in Brazil, isn't just your friend and that you're in love with her. They're going to be totally fine with it.
Don't worry that it's bad in high school that you don't have any boyfriends. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
But you're gonna find people eventually in your life that, especially at university, that just totally accept you for who you are and what you believe in.
You've still heard all those things on a hockey team, oh, like that was such a gay shot. And you wouldn't have said anything in high school, but instead of just letting it happen and blowing it off, you're gonna actually say something. And I'm so proud of you for doing that stuff.
You'll spend a summer teaching kids first aid.
You're not really thinking that teaching is gonna go further than dance.
And you're actually gonna realize that Mr. Bridge actually made that much of a difference in your life.
And Madame Demayas and Mrs. Taylor and Mrs. Sperato, you showed me that it wouldn't change. That you wouldn't change on me, even if I changed.
So you decide, midway through first year that you actually want to make a difference in the lives of young kids.
You're gonna fall in love with teaching.
What you love teaching them is that empathy for the world is necessary to make it a better place.
And to be a voice for people who don't have a voice.
That one person can make a difference, and that can be you, and that will be you.
I mean, teaching will be a roller coaster. There will be days where you can't stop smiling. There will be days where you're driving home crying in your car. There will be days when you aren't sure what to tell your students about yourself and what you shouldn't tell them.
Because you're gonna wonder, are they going to change their impression of you? Are they going to decide that suddenly they don't like you anymore?
Should I tell them that I'm gay? Should I talk about my girlfriend? And then you realize there are going to be moments in your classes when you just feel like you have to come out because you know there's that one kid in your class.
Somebody in your class mutters something about, that is so gay, and you say, let's talk about this. Let me tell you who I am.
Oh no, not gay like you, miss. And you'll say, then gay like how? Because that is me.
And you glance over and you catch the eye of a young girl in the back row who smiles at you and mouths the words. And you have your reason for being who you are and saying what you've done.
In the end, you are going to find your own path within teaching. You're going to find a great community to work with, and you're going to do what you are inspired about.
You're going to realize that you can help create a niche for these students that need to hear about diversity, to provide that voice where it wasn't provided for you growing up.
Because you know that if you went through this, there's a lot of kids out there experiencing this stuff, and of course there are.
And you'll stop being surprised when teenagers respond in such an amazing way to knowing who you are as a person.
And that fuels you and that keeps you going. So you say who you are within your staff, and that opens doors, and that presents a little crack. So like Leonard Cohen says, the light comes in through the cracks, right?
It's in the small corners of school, the pockets, where you're going to find your allies. That's where you're going to make a difference.
Trying to create a culture here in an all-boys school where it's all about equality, it's all about non-discrimination.
Because schools are changing, and the world is changing.
You're going to encounter some boys in UCC that have come out, and they've come out to you.
So many disclosures and questions, and you will help these kids.
You know, really sweet things like you gave me the courage to come out, and that they feel like they can be who they are. There's not a better job in the world than that.
You know, one teacher in a student's life can change the trajectory of that student's life. Hey fellow teachers or teachers-to-be.
So the one piece of advice I would give teachers that are just starting out:
never give up on creating that open environment.
Create a welcoming space, and a space that every student feels that they can come in and participate in and feel accepted and safe.
You know, you're that rock. They see you absolutely every day.
Take the risk. We always ask that of our students. Ask it of yourself too.
Your students really can surprise you.
And they come back year after year after year.
personally told me that it's mattered in their lives.
You were the teacher that cared. You never gave up.
And they may go on and they may provide a voice with their peers.
Great possibilities happen.
And that's beautiful, and that's why teaching is such a fantastic vocation to get into. You can make a huge difference.
So you're saying being a teacher is worth it?
Yeah, yes, being worth it. Yes, it's worth it. Definitely worth it.
Your heart's gonna be warm at the end of the day.
Damn.